So before we get started, I just wanted to thank each and every one of you who have reached out, prayed, and just given some kind words of this whole situation with my nephew JJ. It has not been the best week ever in my entire life. Um, JJ is not only my nephew; he's more like a son to me, and um, yeah, it's been a very hard week. But I thank you all for you reaching out and just touching me in ways I never thought I could ever experience. And I thank you all for the bottom of my heart, just for being there for me and my family. So thank you so much. Wow. So this is what it's like to be in an NWO. Conflict Axiom video. Hello, and welcome to another episode of What If It. You know what? I can't do this in black and white. It has to be in color. Give me a sec. All right, in 3, 2, 1. Much better. Hello, and welcome to another episode of What If It's Cool, the show where we talk about anything and everything that is cool in the world today. I am Hollywood Daniel Paul Crow, and on this episode, I have a sit-down interview with Conflict Axiom's Kris Law, James Marshall, Nate Nitro, and of course, the beautiful Blake Curtis. We talk about how Conflict Axiom is the best team in the world, why Kris Law has a great education, and why James Marshall has an OnlyFans. Guys, I'm not going to read this crap. Seriously, I'm done. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. All I wanted was wear a t-shirt with Conflict Axiom.
Boys, normally I like to say it's a pleasure having you. I got basically ransomed into doing this because I just wanted to wear a friggin' shirt, But again, thank you for being a part of the show. How are you dealing with the news so far? Finding out with Sammy and Ty not coming in. I'll firstly go with Kris.
Who? Who's not coming in? That's the man. No, seriously. I'm a little bit late on the news cycle. Who's not coming in?
So we don't have Sammy Guevara and Ty Mello.
I've never heard of either of those two. Not once.
Have you met Kris Law?
I guess someone else. I don't know. Marshall, do you want to have a? Do you want to talk about that?
I feel like it's kind of it's disappointing for the fans, but it's kind of a blessing because now our opponents may actually focus on us. I don't know if you know this. LDZ is a bit obsessed with fighting Sammy Guevara as of late.
Yes, he is.
But stiff, buddy, you're fighting us.
Speaking of that match, Marshall, obviously there's been a bit of tension with you guys, especially on social media. Where does all this stem from? What is it? Is it from them just being cocky newcomers, or have they been disrespectful in the past? What's going on there?
I'm going to go ahead and say there's a lot of jealousy there. See Conflict Axiom with the stable in pro wrestling, in my opinion, and I'm sure the other guys will agree with me. In B Squared's case, they're brand new to it, and they think, okay, cool. If we challenge the big dogs, maybe we can make a name for ourselves. Hasn't really worked out for them yet.
But was there ever a time? I'm gonna send this tonight. Was there ever a time that you felt exactly the same way, where you were jealous of somebody and you had to attack the big dog?
I don't think that I can really answer that question, to be completely honest, because jealousy to me is just it's not an option. I think that if you're spending your time, if you're wasting your time thinking about what you could have or opportunities that could present themselves, I think it's a total waste of time. Why aren't you out there working for it? So people who sit around and dream about opportunities waiting to be handed to them, waiting to come their way, in my eyes, I've got no time, no respect for that kind of person.
That's fair.
That's all I can say about that.
Okay, that's fair. How did you guys form, and what brought you all together? And
I think-
I'll send this to Kris because you're the de facto leader.
Yeah, I think we formed out of necessity. It was one of those. It was one of those things where you don't really get opportunities. Like there's people who are sort of stuck in their ways who just like to. They like to call shots and they like to stick to what they know. I mean, for anyone who's been following APW, if I never hear the name Smack Daddy again, it'll be too soon. Unfortunately, unfortunately, his son, Michael Thompson, at least I think they're related. Unfortunately, Michael Thompson seemed to have picked up where his father's left off, but Conflict Axiom pretty much came together out of necessity. You had one of the most talented tag teams in Australian professional wrestling at the time, Caliber, which is James Marshall and Blake Curtis, and you had myself. And to be honest, I wasn't doing much of anything. And it's funny. I went on the Pro Wrestling Wiki the other day to be reminded of all the titles that I've held in the 18 years I've been doing this. And to come into APW and be given absolutely nothing to do is pretty insulting, in my opinion. So we formed out of we basically said, we were three guys who basically said, we're not going to sit back and wait for things to come to us anymore. We're just going to take what we want, and to hell with anyone that gets in our way. Luckily for us, at about the same time, there was a tag team where Nate Nitro was being completely overlooked. He was being completely overshadowed. He was being pushed into the background. And it was as simple as I made him an offer for a better opportunity. And, Nate took us up on that offer. And Nate's a part of Conflict Axiom. He's just as much a part of Conflict Axiom as Caliber or myself. We're all in this together, and we're all out for opportunity. Simple as that.
Who came up with the name?
So originally, I believe it was that despicable Smack Daddy that referred to us as the Deplorables, and I actually liked the name the Deplorables. I thought it was a fantastic name. But then, I mean, how do you go forward in your career saying that someone like Smack Daddy can have creative license over what you're doing? We are. We are the true conflict that people are going to face. We are Conflict Axiom. With us, it actually means something. Like, Conflict Axiom. It's the true conflict. We're the true test for anyone. We're not just some journeyman who's been slapped with a name out of the NXT name creator. I shouldn't badmouth him. He's just a kid anyway. But no, we are the real deal. We're the true conflict. We are the truest thing in this business. We're the realest thing in professional wrestling today. It's just that simple. So the name just came together, much like us, out of necessity. We're Conflict Axiom. We are the true conflict. That's it.
Did you pick the much harder word to just get through to the cranium of most? And I'm speaking for myself on this one. People who, let's just say, barely pass U12.
Well, so it's one of those. I like that, but it's one of those things where we Conflict Axiom. Each one of us is extremely educated. We are thinkers as much as we are fighters. We like to think that we have the IQ higher than a wet dishcloth, which is why we don't really care. We don't really care what the fans think. They'll either join us or they'll be against us. But no, Conflict Axiom. That's us. It's we are what we say we are.
So you're saying you're educated. What's your what is your highest of education? We'll start off with James.
I think I graduated year 10. It's hard to recall being, I've been dropped on my head a few times since becoming a pro wrestler. My parents told me I finished year 12, but I don't know what to believe sometimes.
Nate, your highest education?
Look, as far as education goes, I can talk about it till the cows come home, but I mean, in reality, you've got to have some kind of smarts behind you to be able to hook up nitrous injection systems to any old car that you can get your hands on.
Fair enough. Kris, I'm just gonna put it out there just from the way you spoke there. You've got a degree in something. That's what I'm guessing. Maybe ideology or something like that. Am I right to assume that?
I got a degree in the streets. I mean, I was born and raised in Frankston. Frankston gets a bad rap, I'll admit. But if it was myself and one of my former tag partners taking over, pulling people out of trouble back on the streets of Frankston. But I'm absolutely educated. Yes, I'm very opinionated. I have my own ideology about things. That's not a secret, and that's not a secret to anyone. But if you want to know what my education is, I don't need to tell you how successful I was at the Peninsula School or anything like that. What I need to tell you is that I'm the smartest man in professional wrestling. I'm also the best looking man in professional wrestling, and I'm also the best wrestler in the world. It's as simple as that. So yeah, if you want to know about my education is the street. Simple as that.
I don't know about best looking, but
yeah, I'm about to say because not to get my ass kicked on this one, but I have a thing for Richie Taylor, so that's just my sort of thing. Nothing against you, Kris. That's just for me. So I do apologize. I don't please. I still want to wear these. Okay.
Or you can wear that shirt forever.
I don't think I know him, to be honest. I don't know him.
You'll meet him on Saturday, I'm presuming, because, well, you all will be there. Speaking of Saturday, now, obviously, this is not going to be during that time because, obviously, we're recording this a couple of days before Pandemonium 2.0. But let's just go for the six-man tag. Now, obviously, we just talked about you guys are going to be facing B-Squid and the Lit Prince John Stop Action. God, I need to have the glasses to do that. Sorry, JSA, if you hate my impression of you.
You don't need to apologize to that schmuck.
Thanks, Nate. I love you for that.
I was just going to say there's just one rule. If you're wearing a Conflict Axiom shirt, you cannot wear those crappy shades, those cheap Kmart things. That's the only rule. With
wait. So you're saying that's Kmart stuff?
Oh, absolutely.
What do you call this, Mike? Because there's a Anco's tag.
We're not talking about that.
I don't look. It's up to the factories to decide where that stuff comes from.
I will say this. At least with my merch, which is now available, we get it for highly quality, so we get some AS color. So what if the t-shirts are now available if you guys want to get it? That's a cheap plug.
That's a cheeky plug if I ever saw one. Good one. Good work.
Hey, we're all here to make money. And speaking of making money, boys, how can we get your merch?
Boys, if I may.
Yes, please.
Yes.
So we are actually in development at the moment of a website where it's going to have it's going to be the Conflict Axiom website, and it's going to have proper merchandise pictures of everything on models as well. So people who will be, who'll be helping us out there.
And I'm one of the models, right, Nate?
Definitely. Sounds good. I'm sure we can come to an agreement. Yes, but so yeah. In all seriousness, though, it will be. We are in currently setting it up, and there's some back of house issues. We need to iron things out, but it actually is, like, all jokes aside, it actually is pretty exciting. For me and for all of us, really, to sort of have a platform where if people, are too fearful or too scared to come up to us, like, we're perfectly nice people, just don't get on the wrong side of us. But if the fans want an online way of getting in contact with us, or making a merchandise order or anything like that, they'll be able to go to the Conflict Axiom website to be able to make purchases, send emails, all this and all that, and organize these things from there. But that's in the future, and that's well underway. It's getting, hopefully it'll be out at some time later this year. But as for now, you can. We're at every show. We've always got merchandise. We've just got a new. We've got restocked on the classic designs as well. We've got a couple of new designs along the way for each of us, which is that's also very exciting. So keep your eyes peeled on that. But yeah, otherwise, if you at this point in time, if you wanted to make a merch order outside of the shows, or if you can't make it to a show, you can always message us on Instagram. We're all on Instagram, except for Kris, because he can't really figure out what all this new technological whiz-bangery, how that all works. No offense, Kris. We're here to help you. But yeah, so we're all on Instagram. You can message our Conflict Axiom page or message us individually with whatever you may like. Like we're happy to have a chat. Just as I say, don't get on the wrong side of us, because you'll know about it.
Yeah, and you don't want to get that late night message from them saying, "Hey, don't support those guys if you want to wear our shirts." It's not a fun conversation to have.
Sounds like you're speaking from experience.
No, not from experience.
Yeah.
I'm just
good.
predicting.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, no, there's no experience there.
Yeah, it's not like someone came to my house at midnight and said, "Get us on the show."
I wouldn't dream of it.
No,
I told you not to tell anyone about that.
I didn't say anything, did I? I didn't know. Those words didn't come out of my mouth. Let's talk about something, because I know from experience I've had gone through this, but I'm guessing because you guys are so popular, you might have this. Have you ever had fans actually ask you for free tickets?
Yes, all the time.
And what's your response?
My response is always, "Who are you? Don't touch me. Get out of my personal space."
I think that's a good way to respond.
Well said.
Very well said, sir.
Like, do you ever get a lot of people handing you that way? Because I know, and again, not being biased, boys, but like, you are my favorite member of Conflict. Do you ever get any?
Respectable.
I know. I have
respectable.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but I'd love to say yes, but no. I kind of scare people away.
Have you seen him?
Yeah, I do.
He's yeah.
From the moment I laid my eyes on all of you guys, like Blake was the one I draw to, because oh my god, I've got a fanboy over this at the moment.
You're making it sound romantic, mate.
Let's cue that music right now. I was just captured by him, because he was just, look at him. He's fantastic.
Well,
yeah, I'll agree with that.
For that.
You guys are going to kick my ass when you see me on Saturday, aren't you?
Hey,
not if he's in the way.
Look. I absolutely understand why you're saying that, Daniel Paul, if that is your real name.
It's not, but yeah.
There's a reason why Blake Curtis was the first person I hired to this group. It's because you want a powerhouse. You want someone. You want someone who is as dangerous as they look. Blake Curtis is that man. There's a reason why he is the Battle Lord. And all anyone needs to do is watch him in the ring to see that. So I understand your admiration for him.
Okay.
He's also incredibly handsome.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. The grueling question I have for all four of you, because this is how not being biased to any of our guests that we've had previously, but I do see this in the four of you. Is it the right way to say that you guys are the new four horsemen of professional wrestling, especially here in Australia? We'll go with Marshall on this one first.
Honestly, that's a very tough question for me personally. I actually think, if anything, Kris could probably answer that better than I ever could.
All right, Kris, the floor is yours.
Who?
There were these guys back in the 70s and 80s that were ruling professional wrestling. It was like some guy named Ric Flair, brothers Ollie and Arn Anderson, and a guy by the name of something Blanchard. I don't know. They're not famous or
I
anything.
think
but, yeah.
I think I've heard of them. Yeah, look, I mean, we absolutely are. I mean, I have to assume by your praise for them that they were good. You're talking a Conflict Axiom, friend. We are that good. It's one of those things. I mean, maybe I'm in the business of tooting my own horn here, but Four Horsemen, sure. NWO, DX, Bullet Club, Los Ingobernables de Japón. We're in that conversation. We're Conflict Axiom, man. We're the best.
Can I add in as well? I would like to say something here. I don't think. Again, I think a lot of time can be wasted talking about, is this faction as good as that faction, or is Conflict Axiom as good as the Four Horsemen? I think that's not the right question to be asking. I think our answer to a certain question like that would be the fact that we don't need to. We don't need to be the next Four Horsemen, because we're already the first Conflict Axiom. So why would we try to pretend to be, all these other people, regardless of how good or how bad they were realistically? Why are we wasting time thinking about is Conflict Axiom the next Four Horsemen? No, it doesn't matter. It's totally irrelevant, because we're the first Conflict Axiom, and that's nothing's going to change that.
Are you guys always going to stay as a 4-piece, or is there room for another member?
Are you putting in a job application? Are you?
No, because unfortunately, although
it's okay. You can admit that you are. That's fine.
No. I have no plans to step in the ring. If you've ever seen me fight, I am absolutely terrible. I'm just speaking on behalf of as a wrestling fan to see, because I would love to see more people in your faction there.
Mr. Crow, don't downplay yourself. We always need people to fetch us coffee. We always need people to carry our bags. We always need people to ring around, ring hotels for us, book our flights, that sort of stuff. You're a good man. I like you. I'm sure one day you might be member number 7.
7. Who are the other 3 before that?
Huh?
Is there another 3 before that I don't know about?
Well, I think your maths is a little bit off, but there's myself, there's Blake Curtis, there's James Marshall, there's Nate Nitro, 5, 6, and then there might be you. If you want that role, you could be the 7th member.
Okay, very educated man from Frankston, right there. Boys,
don't doubt the man. Don't doubt the
man. Look, math is math, but we're wrestlers. We do what we need to do in the ring.
Yeah.
What's that Scott Steiner promo?
All we need to know is 1, 2, 3. That's it.
That's
the
it.
Numbers don't lie.
All right. So because we haven't had much from Blake, I want to direct this to you, mate.
Yeah.
What so far has been your favorite opponent, and what is next for Conflict Axiom?
I'd have to say my favorite opponent was Jason Crush.
Yep. Good mate of the show.
I think it was at Breakout 30.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was Breakout 30, and him and I just had this back and forward for years now, and it was finally time to pull the trigger, and then he pushed me to my limit, and I can't wait to do that again. Punch him straight in his face. But what's next for Conflict Axiom? Been saying for a while that I want to go back after the tag titles. Yeah, I think that's next for us.
Are you guys going to employ the free bird rule on that if hypothetically one of you guys get hurt again?
We already have. It's we've actually discussed this at length many times. And I think for all of us, it wasn't, sorry boys, I cut in, but
Please.
but I think for all of us, it just wasn't really a question. Like, we all knew that if something happens to one of us, another will step in. Like, that's the purpose of the faction. That's why you have factions, really. And Conflict Axiom is, like, as they say, we're all equals in this, and we're all in this together. And we'll all tell you that till the cows come home. But so I mean, just like we did before, like in our last title run, 364 days, where Curtis got knocked around a bit and spent some time on the shelf, and that's when I was there to help carry on the title run in his name, and that's it, as I said, for all of us, it was just a no-brainer. It wasn't even a question. It was we're all equals, and we're gonna all fight for each other. Like, it's not that two members are the tag champs. It's that Conflict Axiom is the tag champs. So if Law and Marshall want to defend them one night, and then me and Curtis want to defend them the next night, like this, it's a no-brainer, because Conflict Axiom is the tag team champions. So
would you apply that to another championship by any chance? Maybe what Kris is holding?
I can only assume that you mean the Openweight Championship here, the APW Openweight Championship. So Conflict Axiom are equals. We're a team, first and foremost. Now, naturally, no one ever wants to get injured, but as Nate said, we are equals. My job at the moment is to defend this championship and help my team gain further championships. Now, if for whatever reason, and I'm sure it would never happen, I was unable to defend that belt, the best way I can answer your question is to say I would have no reservations whatsoever. I would have no fear whatsoever in having any member of Conflict Axiom fill in, take the title and defend it just as they know that I would. That's what we expect of each other. We expect the best from each other. And the truth of the matter is if it ever came down to something like Blake Curtis or James Marshall and Nate Nitro challenging Kris Law for the Openweight Championship, I would expect them to try to kill me in that ring. I would expect them to give me 100%, because if they believe that they can do this job better than me, then they should attempt that. The truth of the matter is there's no one I prefer to go into battle with. But to be honest, I know if I was to fight one of these guys, I would get the best possible fight out of these guys. We all keep each other accountable. We all want to be the best, and that's the way we do things.
Well said.
Well said.
Yeah.
Really well said.
Yeah.
I will hold you to that, Mr. Law, that in 12 months' time, 24 months' time, if one of these fine gentlemen challenge you up there, we will use this recording. We will send it to Adrenaline Pro Wrestling, and we will hold you to it.
No problem at all. As a matter of fact, it's one of the good things I like about this. We want to get this on recording. I want to be held accountable to the things I say. And let me be completely clear about this. We are a proper functioning unit, but we all want to be the best. And if ever it came down to me defending against the championship against one of these boys, I expect you to use this footage. I expect to be held accountable, and I expect these guys to try to take my head off. Plain and simple. We're all equals.
You got it, boss.
Well, it was like at Legacy when you turned around and I chokeslammed you. I wanted the belt,
Oh yeah, you choked me out, your ass.
I fought Marshall. We're all brothers in the end,
just
but
crying in
we
the
all want the
background.
same thing.
And I would expect nothing less. If I had have turned around and you were just standing there waiting for orders, I would have been disappointed in you. But the fact of the matter is I was the one who made the mistake by dropping my guard. You almost eliminated me from that match, and more power to you. But at the end of the day, as everyone in that match and everyone in that tournament, I mean, you got to understand, in that night, Blake Curtis, with all due respect, I defeated you. I defeated Zane Zodiac. I defeated one other guy, and earlier in the night, I defeated Adam Brooks. Like, I'm no pushover. You know, for the longest time, I've been doing this almost 18 years. You know what I mean? If these guys want to take away what I've got because they think they could do it better, I want them to step up. But you need to remember, that's not a challenge. We're a unit. If that opportunity comes up, I expect nothing but their best.
We already mentioned this before, but what you're just saying all there, you are sounding like you are the horseman. But here's the thing with all this, though. Unlike what the four horses, I can see the respect in all four of you here. And I think maybe I might be eating my words on this one. You know, maybe we won't need to send this to Adrenaline Pro Wrestling. But again, Mr. Law, I am holding you responsible for everything that's said here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And absolutely you should. And you want to talk about respect. Conflict Axiom was put together by me because I wanted to surround myself with guys who'd had enough of being looked over, who'd had enough of, you know, being were waiting for an opportunity. I put this group together. If you want to be in Conflict Axiom, you have to be hand selected by me. It's as simple as that. We don't muck around. You know, I can tell you right now, when Conflict Axiom was just myself and the Caliber boys, we were running roughshod over everything. We noticed Nate Nitro and what he was going through. Nate Nitro approached us. I don't want anyone thinking that we stole Nate Nitro or we drafted and worked Nate Nitro's mind over. Absolutely not. Nate Nitro approached me and he said, hey, you know what? I'm starting to see things your way. You know, if I turn on Jake Neo, will you guys give me a shot? And I said, I'll give you a shot if you turn on Jake Neo. Simple as that.
For me, again, there wasn't a choice in it. My team with Jake Neo was short-lived, I guess you can say, as number one, but number two was it wasn't to be. Like it was stale. We hadn't been together long, but it was stale, and we weren't going anywhere, and there was miscommunication after miscommunication, and he was a kind of guy that would sort of step aside and be like, oh, don't worry, Nate, like, oh, you want to make a plan? Oh, don't worry about that. Oh, don't worry about that. And this is why I fear for Valito, because I know what it's like to team with Jake Neo, with a guy like him, and you know, you can say what you will, but I mean, you never really know someone until, you know, you're in their back pocket, and you only get pulled out for the bag of tricks. And unfortunately, Jake Neo was one of those people. And I mean, so when you know, I'd sort of caught whispers in the back that there were eyes on me, you know, three sets of eyes in particular. And so I was man enough one night, and Kris, I'm sure you remember the night, but when I came up to you and I said, hey, look, can we just like put everything aside for now? And can we just talk one-on-one like men? And he said, I'm all ears. And so again, like, I mean, you can say the rest is history, but he actually, and this is a true story, he said to me about being a member of Conflict Axiom, he said, it's no light feat. He said, people will hate you with all of their being. He's like, do you know what it's like to live with a target on your back? And I said, look, to be honest, no. I said to him, I don't know what it's like to to be like that, and I don't know what it's like to, you know, have people coming after me left, right, and center. But I said to him, I said, I'm willing to learn, you know. And the fact is, I've never looked back once. But when you're surrounded with a team as such a cohesive unit, such as Conflict Axiom, it doesn't matter if you've got a target on your back, because it's shared by the guys who are right beside you all the time. And you know, like, I've got their back, they've got my back. Like, it's all such a cohesive unit. And like, so I mean, if you wanted to, you didn't really ask, but I gave it to you anyway, the story of, you know, how I sort of came into Conflict Axiom. And again, it wasn't really a choice, but it was a no-brainer. Like, it really was.
Would you say it's a calling, maybe?
I guess you could say it. I guess you could say it was that. Like, I always knew that. I feel like, as much as I tried to sort of push it aside in my time with Jake, and everybody will know that, you know, there's rivalries in pro wrestling, and Nate Nitro and Jake Neo is one of the ones up the top of the list. But I think you can call it a calling, really, because there wasn't really as I said, I've said it before, but there wasn't really a choice in it. It was an opportunity that it was an opportunity to further my career and to progress myself. But and that's how I saw it initially, is something to progress myself. And then, you know, a year, 2 years on, however long, I lose track of the days because I'm not even counting anymore. You know, this far in, there's so much more to it than just self-gain. Like, it really is a team, and you fight for the team. You know, but not to say that we don't have our own individual fights. Like, you know, of course we do. We have our own individual battles, but at the end of the day, as we've said all the way through, we're a team. We stick together through thick and thin by each other's sides. Right. So,
all right, well, it is time to now ask the staple question here. What if it's cool? What is something that you all find cool that nobody else does? We'll start off with James Marshall. Go for it, mate.
Putting me on the spot. I mean, I think I'm pretty cool, but if we've got to not pick myself,
no one else.
Oh, shut up, idiot. Well, you know what? I'm looking up as I look right up at this light above me. I think Dragon Ball Z is pretty cool. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at Goku right now. He's lighting up my room. There we go.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Blake.
That's tough. That's really tough. I'd say maybe classic horror movies. Has to be one of my favorite things.
Like, so what, black and white ones, or like the ones from the 80s? What are you talking about?
Yeah, so the 1930s Frankenstein.
Oh, mate. We got to hang out after the show, I'm thinking. You love that. If you love that stuff, like, brother.
Yeah.
Someone's got a man crush. Nothing wrong with that, of course.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I do with Curtis as well. You know, it's no secret.
What is everyone's obsession with Curtis? Like, damn,
very handsome man.
I'm the good-looking one.
Oh, okay, all right, settle down.
Okay, yeah.
We can argue that one, but
I think Chris Law will agree with that.
Well, we've got the sexy wing of Conflict Axiom, which is myself and Chris Law. Like, this is something that hasn't actually come to shows yet, but this is something we've actually discussed.
You need to understand. Curtis and I are the sexy wing of Conflict Axiom, not you two schmucks. Don't start this crap again.
We've discussed this. I think we both know. We don't need to say anything more, but we both know the answer. We both know who the sexy wing is, and I don't think we really need to talk too much more about it because the answer is obvious. Like, I think that's it. I think that's just it.
So Nate, you're saying that what you think is cool is the horror movie stuff as well?
I'm not a big fan, to be completely honest.
Okay.
I like, this is truthfully as well. I don't watch a lot of TV or movies. I don't watch a lot of things because I'm so, like, this is me as a person as well. Like, I'm obsessed with doing things. So sometimes, like, to me, sitting down for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, like the only shows that I can sit through that is like movies is the Lord of the Rings extended edition. Like,
what is with everyone lately saying Lord of the Rings? Is it getting back into fashion all of a sudden?
no,
TJP
like,
was on this show and he said the exact same thing, and then I've interviewed other people and they've said the exact same thing. What's going on?
I mean, I don't know. I've always enjoyed it. Like, I've got a map of Middle Earth there. I mean, this wasn't actually going to be the thing that I was going to say, but
yeah,
I've got a map of Middle Earth and a map of Mordor there. Like, literally, I'm looking up at them on the wall. So like that's kind of the nerdy side of me. But yeah, that's cool. But yeah, I mean, that wasn't what I was going to say. But I mean, I guess I've answered the question in a way.
Yeah, but that is some cool stuff. Mr. Coleslaw, I mean, sorry, Kris Law. Please don't kick my ass, please.
That was good. I haven't heard that one before. No, I think what's cool for me is the fact that I'm in the process of writing 9 science fiction novels. Not reading, writing.
Really?
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
The first 2 are complete. But yeah, I'm looking to. It'll be my legacy. It'll be what I'm remembered by. But I am. I'm writing. I'm writing 9 books at the moment. So yeah, that's what I think is really cool.
That is really cool. We'll have to check it out once you eventually publish them. Now, finally, boys.
Yeah, James Marshall knows the first one. He's experienced the first one, and it's pretty.
It is incredible, absolutely incredible. I'm not a book person, but I'll read the shit out of this over and over. It's fantastic.
All right, well, I'm going to have to get my hands on this one eventually when you put it out. Lastly, guys, where can we all find you on socials? Now, we'll go with Kris first because obviously you're very mysterious. Are you on anything at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I am on Twitch TV / Revenant Kris Law. That's it. I respect people's use of social media and all that. I just don't respect social media. I understand the irony of that this is going out on social media. And Daniel, I appreciate you giving us a spotlight. But no, just Twitch. I play video games and I talk shit. So yeah, that's it.
Fair enough. James Marshall?
You can find me on Facebook, unfortunately, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch TV. I don't know. There could be an OnlyFans there. I'm everywhere.
Is that what we want to see though? Your OnlyFans?
I don't know. You tell me.
$99.99.
But either way, it'll be all of those things / James FN Marshall because I can't swear. Mr. Law will.
Mate, you realize you're on Waterford School. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
Okay, no, I can't swear in my titles.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But yeah, James FN Marshall. You'll find me all over the place. And I think there's a YouTube there, but who knows what goes on there.
Oh, fair enough. The beautiful Blake Curtis. Where can we find you, man?
Oh, beautiful Blake Curtis. I like that. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, just as the Blake Curtis. Yeah, I'm pretty active on Instagram more than Facebook, so probably the best place to find me there.
Beautiful. And lastly, Nate, where can we find you, man?
So I'm on the standard Facebook at Nate Nitro Pro Wrestler, and mainly on Instagram. I don't post too much on Facebook, but I'm mainly on Instagram at Nate Nitro Pro, where you will see all of my escapades committing street crimes in fast cars.
Sounds like a good dream. Sounds really fun.
On private roads, I will say.
That's what that bail was for.
Private roads. Green Road.
All right. Well, boys, firstly, thank you for all of you being a part of the show and just being yourselves and having fun. Thank you for allowing me to wear this beautiful shirt, even though it's from Kmart. I will see.
Rude.
I'll see you at Pandemonium, buddy.
All right, those are fighting words.
Don't worry. I'll have somewhat backup. I'll probably have Chief or producer Ziggs with me. But on that note, boys, thank you so much for being part of the show. Don't forget to check them all out at Adrenaline Pro Wrestling. They also will be fighting at is it Victorian Pro Wrestling that you guys some of you guys will be doing that show as well?
No, not at the moment.
Or is it? Sorry, Anarchy, isn't it?
Anarchy, yes, we will.
Anarchy Pro Wrestling.
You can catch us at Anarchy Pro.
Yeah. Link is all in the description, guys, if you want to check him out. But seriously, do check him out because all four of these men are very, very talented. Conflict Axiom, thank you for being part of What If It's Cool.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks for having me on, mate. It's been awesome.
And that's the end of that episode. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this show wherever you get your podcasts. Want more from What If It's Cool? Make sure to check out the YouTube channel where you can find the latest episodes of Mukbanging Around, Reaction, and of course, the Vlogcast. Make sure to follow the show on all platforms. It can be found at What If It's Cool. Keep that support coming. And until next time, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.